Hey YouTube, Healthinator here, and today I'm with a special guest, Dexter, and we're going to discuss the benefits of meditation. So let's jump right in. So Dexter, how long have you been practicing meditation, and what qualifies you to speak on the subject?
So I've been practicing meditation for the last 28 years. I was exposed to it at a very
Long time.
young age due to the martial arts. Been practicing it essentially since then, but fast forward a couple of decades, I got accepted to NIU, where it was my main area of focus. It was what my master's was in. I published one paper in the Cambridge University Journal of Industrial Organizational Psychology on how best to apply meditation to the workplace and common missteps that are in the practice.
Very cool. Meditation, in your opinion, where did it originate from? Was there a certain region of the world?
So that's a very, very good question. Mm-hmm. And it's a debate in the field. Is it an Eastern practice? Yeah. Is it Western?
Yeah.
Is it a universal thing? And honestly, it probably is a universal thing because, yes, there's many different forms of Eastern practices of meditation, but there are tons of academic studies that show that many of the same benefits that are derived from Eastern meditation practices are also found in Western prayer practices.
Okay, so similarities.
Very, very much so.
Cool. And then somebody who's getting into meditation, what benefits should they expect? Do you have any testimonials as far as what kind of physical or mental benefits they should expect once they start to venture down this path?
That's a great question. And everybody's a little bit different. Mm-hmm. In terms of the testimonials from my clients, I had one gentleman, he was in the Marine Corps for several years. He went out into the corporate world, and the corporate world was so stressful for him, he developed shingles at his job.
Stress-related. Stress is horrible for you.
It is. And what meditation is designed to do primarily is to relax your mind and de-stress your nervous system. Mm-hmm. And within 6 days of working with me, he cured his shingles, which I've never seen anything do that before. And they had no idea what brought it on. I suggested it was stress, 6 days of meditation, completely asymptomatic.
That's great. Any other testimonials too?
One of the individuals who was working with a colleague of mine, she was diagnosed as infertile, could not conceive a child. Within 3 months, she was pregnant. She managed to de-stress her body enough to where it began to heal itself, to where she could naturally start bearing children.
I believe stress is almost worse than a bad diet in some cases.
In some cases, it certainly is.
Yeah. So that's great. Also, too, so basically it's mostly for the mind, which then correlates to the body, physical. So even though it's not going to physically help maybe a muscle injury, it's more for basically probably stress, anxiety. What else would you say?
You hit it right on the head, both for stress, anxiety, but by de-stressing your nervous system, you're allowing your body to naturally heal itself. And there was 2 different academic studies that shown that when people meditate, the rest they get per minute is 5 times deeper and greater than the rest you get from sleep.
Holy cow. Now, is there different forms of meditation for somebody who's our listeners who are just getting into the first time, somebody intermediate or somebody advanced? If you can maybe touch on some of those beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels of meditation? Yeah,
so a colleague of mine, his name's Anthony, he and I sat down and we tried to categorize every single form of meditation, and we had to stop once we reached 211.
So there's so many.
There's so many.
But there's some probably that a beginner shouldn't really do.
I agree. And unfortunately, one of the most common ones in our field is something called mindfulness. And a lot of people think mindfulness and meditation are the same thing. They're not. Mindfulness is a subset of meditation that was originally designed for monks from hatha yoga practices. Mm-hmm. And it was designed to make them better monks through their particular religious practices and beliefs. Unless you're a monk, I would usually suggest looking elsewhere. Yeah. Could it work? Yeah. I've had several clients who they started with it. I suggested other things. Some of them stayed with those other things I mentioned. Others went back to the mindfulness practices because it was working better for them. And I'm not going to tell anybody to do something that's not working for them. Mm-hmm. So what I usually recommend for most beginners, especially in the West, are something called guided meditations. And you can find these on YouTube. There's tons of apps on your phone that you can put on your laptop, and they will guide you through a specific meditation practice.
Rather than just trying to try it all on your own. It gives you a little bit of a blueprint.
It does. And you have somebody to talk you through it. Could you see a professional mindfulness or meditation practitioner or coach? Yes, it's usually very costly, but by getting a free app or going to a YouTube
Give
video
it a try.
for free.
See if it's for you.
Exactly.
Cool.
And
Good way to go.
it's a great way to start. And I should also mention, a lot of people, when they first start, they're very frustrated because it's always about shutting off your mind and focusing on a single thing.
It's something called the monkey brain, right?
That's
it
exactly
just keeps spinning and spinning, and you have to basically kind of shut that off, right?
That's exactly it. Monkey mind is a terrible thing for most beginners. And it's very, very frustrating for them. Just keep with it. Just remember, everybody sucks at everything when they first start doing it. So after a few practices, you'll start getting the hang of it, and you'll start getting the benefits very, very quickly.
Cool. And have you come across any studies where they're showing how meditation has helped with, especially, let's say, in the field of anxiety versus the pharmaceutical drug, which they love to give you, which works for a while and doesn't work, and it's this drug and that drug? I'm sure they've probably found some benefits, and even probably better benefits with meditation versus the pharma answer.
Absolutely. So the pharmaceutical answer will work in the short term, but again, there's also long-term detriments associated with long-term use of, let's say, Zoloft or other pharmaceuticals. Additionally, you're dependent on those, whereas the meditation has no side effects other than beneficial ones. So it's going to relax people. It's going to de-stress them. It's going to help heal injuries, help essentially conditions of various chronic diseases, ailments. Even sexual wellness is one of the big ones that people are looking at right now.
Impotence.
Yeah. Which, unfortunately, most people don't know this. Side effect of certain anti-anxiety medications is impotence.
There you go. So it's definitely interesting. Also, too, as far as how long, in the beginning, how long should meditations be? Like when you first get going, as far as duration, and what's your view on 5, 10 minutes, 20? I mean, some people can last longer than others. I mean, so what kind of period should they be, probably?
That's a great question. So my recommendation to anybody starting off is as long as you can. I've had certain clients who are CEOs of Fortune 500 companies where they have maybe 90 seconds in a day. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Set up an app on your phone. So when you're walking downstairs to your coffee maker, start your coffee maker, go in the other room, start that app, and meditate for 90 seconds.
That's cool.
If that's all you have.
Yeah.
I usually recommend starting off with just 5 minutes. I've seen other people, that takes them 40 minutes to really get into it, but they've been doing that for years, in some cases decades. So,
now, is there probably a time of the day? Some people say first thing in the morning is best, or afternoon, or does that really make a difference? Or what's your opinion on timing?
Everybody's a little bit different, and it depends on your exact goals. I personally like to meditate in the morning. I also meditate in the evening because it's a great way to, as you put it before, shut off that monkey mind so
to help
you
you
can get to sleep.
I'm sure that's another thing too. I didn't touch on. I just thought of is it probably would help people with anxiety, but with like sleep where they can't really sleep.
Yes. Because they can't shut off that monkey mind. They're chronically stressed. They're cycling thoughts. This will essentially de-stress their mind, get them into a relaxed state where they've been focused on a single thing, which will help them fall asleep.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to touch on too real quick is, I forgot to ask you, is by meditation, have they shown any help in production of like GABA and serotonin and these brain transmitters by meditation, increasing those brain transmitters, which GABA relaxes you, and serotonin is your feel-good hormone? Have you found anything with that as far as increase in brain transmitters?
That's a great question, and the research is all over the place, probably because there's different forms of meditation. The general consensus seems to be that it brings your brain back to homeostasis, what it is supposed to be like. Whereas, let's say there's a lot of cortisol going through your body.
So it kind of like, in a sense, puts your brain in neutral. So it's not reverse, it's not in drive, it's just in neutral, it's just relaxed.
Correct. That's what a lot of the different forms of meditation seem to do. However, certain other forms of meditation, we have noticed a stronger uptake in GABA. But again, as everybody knows with science, it's not just one study. They have to replicate it
over and over again.
Exactly.
Very good, very good. All right. Any closing thoughts here before we end up here on meditation?
My closing thought would be just stick with it. It's a little difficult at first, but if you stick with it, I promise you'll get the results.
Cool. Very good. Well, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to this video. And if you're feeling anxiety or stress in your life, don't reach for those pharma drugs. Do the meditation. Do it.